Residents in the Kaya district, and especially those living in the twin towns of Santa Elena and San Ignacio, are awaiting patiently for the completion of the promised new bridge that will alleviate the congested traffic across the Macal River. And if you ever get to visit the area, you will see that much progress has been made in this giant project, which is expected to be completed in early 2017. Over the last few weeks, residents and motorists on the George Price Highway have been treated to regular convoys of huge pre-stressed concrete beams traveling at slow speeds along the highway and making their way to the site on the Macal. Several companies have been working to ensure the project is being completed so that motorists can have a new access to the twin towns. One such company is M&M Engineering. Roque Matus, proprietor of that company, sat down with Steve ODell and shared some insights into the superstructure going up over the Macal River.
It has been a great honor to be part of the construction of the biggest bridge in Belize. We have been constructing bridges for over 8 years, including bridges in Belize City, such as Chetamal Street Bridge, all the way to the south of Belize in Halacte. This Macal Bridge has been very challenging, but finishing it has been rewarding, and it proves to us that we are able to build any bridge that can be possibly built in Belize. Well, originally the Macal Bridge was a steel girder bridge. When it was put out to tender, the contractors that bidded on the bridge came in way above budget. And so Cisco Construction, which was the winner of the tender, came to us along with the government of Belize and asked us for an alternative design so that they could build a bridge within budget. So we came up with a design for a pre-stressed concrete girder bridge, which saved the government of Belize about 30%. The advantage of this bridge is that we are building it locally, and therefore all the labor is local. But even more importantly is that the engineering is local, and so a company like M&M Engineering gains a lot of experience from doing an exercise like this. Being that the bridge is being built local, we also have the opportunity that we stimulate the economy, and then the foreign exchange stays at home. So it's plus to build a bridge in the system.
To have a local company gain such experience in bridge building is indeed immeasurable, and to build the biggest double-lane bridge in the country, the company has had to overcome several challenges.
Of all the bridges I've worked on so far, every single bridge has its own sets of challenges, and the Macal site was definitely one of the masters of them all. First of all, the river is very wide, and there's a very deep ravine to get down to the riverbed. So it was very complicated for us to take big machinery to the bottom, such as big cranes to dry piling, as well as to take these 60-ton beams to the bottom of the river to be able to hang the beams. Secondly, the river looks very tranquil, but on any given moment, the river can raise 5 or 6 feet or even 10 feet. You can lose equipment down there in that process. So it was also a very dangerous project in that sense. The whole process was complicated because this is the first time that M&M Engineering was embarking in such big beams. These beams were almost 60 tons in weight, and they were 115 feet long. So from building them in our factory to moving them out of the yard to transporting them all the way to San Ignacio, going down a very deep ravine and then hanging them over 50 feet high in the sky was very complicated. But for me, I would say the 3 steps that were equally most complicated for us was, one, getting them through the hills of Belize, where we needed to have an additional crane by the Mount Hope area to pull the trucks up and down the hills, because the truck by itself could not take the load. Secondly, going down the very steep ravine to the bottom of the bridge was also very complex. We had to have a big bulldozer helping the trucks so that they don't slide or going down. And then finally, the hanging of these extremely big beams required 2 crane operators with extremely good coordination, so that one crane didn't pull over the other crane and the beam would fall or the crane would collapse.
And if you enjoy this news piece on the progress of the bridge going up over the Macal, you will enjoy a new television program which airs exclusively on PlusTV in the next few weeks. The show is the brainchild of Steve ODell, a filmmaker who has made Belize his home for many years. ODell has been following the building of this and other large structures in Belize, and on December 30th launches his latest work, To Build a Bridge. Here's a sneak peek of that TV program set to air at the end of 2016.
You caught me, and now my secret project isn't secret anymore. I've been filming big bridge construction for M&M Engineering. I filmed from start to finish the Macal River Bridge on the coastal highway. I filmed from start to finish the biggest bridge in Belize on the Macal River here in the Cayo district. That bridge is being done through a partnership between M&M Engineering and Cisco Construction. All of this video is being made into a TV series which will air right here in Belize for the next 6 months. It's something you won't want to miss. It's packed full of excitement, big machines doing big things, and the proud men of Belize working hard to change this country for the better. And the name of this TV series? You guessed it, To Build a Bridge. Well, I gotta get back to work. It's good to see you.
Watch. Here at the pile factory, men are making piles and beams, 5/8 steel cable wrapped with heavy coiled wire. And all 8 cables are pulled tight to 30,000 pounds, like giant guitar strings. And then encased in high-density concrete with special additives like plasticizer, and the perfect mix of sand and gravel. And this is how you make pre-stressed concrete beams. And when this super concrete comes down the chute, the men get busy filling up the molds, spreading, settling, and smoothing the concrete around the tightly stretched cable and wire skeleton that is now inside the concrete. For one day, the concrete bakes in the hot Belize sun. Then men hook up cables and jerk it out of its mold with a gigantic crane. Your day has come, Mr. Beam. You will be hoisted on high, strapped to the hammer, and pounded into the ground. You will become what holds in place a gigantic bridge, you and 60 of your friends, and this is how it begins. Slam, 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 again and again. This is what they do at M&M. And now you are seeing the crew loading a beam onto a truck. They back up and under on one end and lift up and over with the crane in the rear. Brother, you don't know what heavy is. 60 tons to pull down the road, strapped down by 16 chains. My heart's pounding all the way. For 100 miles we run with the police in the front and the police in the rear, but there's one hill the truck can't pull, so a crane waits to pull us up to the other side. When you're 130 foot long, you need lots of space to turn. So you'll have to run over a lot of curbs and sidewalks and pray when the beam takes the lick. After 5 hours of very tense driving, we arrive at the bridge site. There's no way we can go down the steep hill, not with this beam pushing us. We need a big bulldozer to hold us back. The truck driver sets his air brakes, but that won't stop him. This beam is coming down, and they've got to steer it to the right spot at the bottom. The driver sweats, the trailer creaks, and the brakes groan as we go as slow and easy as we can. This is not easy. Even when you do it right, the rear of the trailer is never close enough. It's got to be lifted up by a crane and scooted over to the very edge. Yeah. And after the beam has been unstrapped, the 2 cranes begin to lift together. The pressure's on them now. There can be no distraction as this team concentrates on the job at hand, which is 60 tons of concrete, 60 feet in the air. This is serious business. Men working together to slay the dragon. No job more important than the other. This is how you build a bridge. There were 36 of these giant beams hung at the Macal. I remember every damn one of them. How could I forget? We were making history, building the biggest bridge in Belize. And you were there too.
The bridge is slated to be completed in May of 2017, but the TV program To Build a Bridge begins on December 30th on PlusTV.